To the inaugural of Planet Base series. This is Plexis Foxtrot, your host. And I just want to remind everybody that I am currently dedicating my videos and series to those who have died and are fighting for their freedom in Ukraine. May they long be in our memories and our thoughts and our hearts. Let's get it started. New game. We'll start with the Class D planet. Right. I generally don't choose a name. I just let it kind of like whatever it is. Like this one's called Base D67. So we'll go with that one. Now, as the game starts out, you end up with this lander, and out pops several bots along with 7 colonists. Now you let them come out there, and what you need to do is, as soon as it opens up like that, you need to do a quick look around. Find out where everything is, because you're going to need to figure out how you're going to build this thing. You're going to want to be... I mean, the area that you've got is huge to work with. I mean, look at how far away I go. And the lander's all the way over there. So you've got a huge area to work with. You're going to want to have a dedicated... You're going to want to figure out where you're going to want the dedicated landing area to be. Right, so... But you don't have to start that up yet. A lot of people make the mistake of having a landing pad early on, and it slows you down in other areas. First thing you do is you recycle this. Okay. Now, you decide where's the mine going to go. Right. So you put that. Right. You can't put a mine down. It won't let you put it down yet. You have to put these things down first. So to get started, you set up your airlock, then your production for your oxygen. Now, off of the airlock, right? So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to generate power. And then you're going to want to generate water. Bring up the extractor. The other thing though, some players make the mistake of is they go large to begin with. You don't want to do that. Okay. See, now that you've got this, that still doesn't come up yet. Right. So now you've got these. Nope, you don't want that. What you want is this. Okay. And then over here, it's not going to let you have that yet. Guess you gotta have that one. So then for the base, the first thing you want to do is put in someplace that they can store all this stuff. Right, there's your storage room. Right, off of the O2 production. Right, you want to have yourself a little cafeteria so they can eat. You can now set, as you see, you can now set up your mine. Set up your mine there, like thus. That allows you to produce the ore that you need to make further things. All right, so now you've got the O2 going. You've got the storage. You've got the storage dome. You've got the canteen. Now they need a place to sleep. Right, so put it in like that. They sleep there. Okay, so now that they've got that, if you look what I'm missing, all right, you want a biodome. Come on, there you go. Hook that up to your storage area. What the biodome will do is will allow you to be able to make food in the canteen. Right. So then you've got that one. The next thing you want, you've already got the storage. Then you're going to want to have your processing, which you need to put right off of the storage area, so anything extra can go right in there. And look at this, nice little area you've got. We're producing stuff. Now we're running into this little hill here. So yep, it looks like it's going to have to go this way. This little notch right here. So, okay. All right, so now we've got processing plant. So now that we've got a processing plant, right, this is a canteen. All right, so what we're going to do here is, what is this? Okay, process. Just double check your processing plant. All right. So what you do is off the processing plant, you put that, which is your sick bay. All right. Now you've got the sick bay there. Now you're going to want to have a place to make stuff for the sick bay, which is going to be over here. However, it's actually going to be hooked up to there because that's where it's going to get what it needs. Now, as you see, you've got these different things here. This is the storage, but this is, all right, and you know what? They're kind of not happy because there's no place to store the water. Right, so they'll build that, and we'll get the water stored. Right, so now the easiest way I find it is it shows the domes as a thing, but it shows the tops as they call it. Right, you hit this button or hit the tab button, and boom, now you don't see those. So this is the canteen. You want it very simple. You don't want to get flamboyant. Right? You want one of those. You want a table for them to sit. Right? Give them a water fountain and a TV to watch the news. Right? Later on, you'll add a couple more. You'll add a couple of more of the. Okay, that's not unusual. That's not unusual at all. Right at the beginning to lose power. Once you get everything that we need in place, which is we're almost there, because like this is so now that's all set up to go the way you want it. All right, you want a dorm. Now there's eight colonists, so you want 4 bunks altogether. That's enough for the colonists. You basically want to have 1 bunk per per colonist. I mean, would you want to sleep in the same bed somebody else just got out of? Think about that. Right. Alrighty, biodome's coming up here. Okay, this is the lab. At the lab, you're going to want 2 things. All right, this is the workbench so that your medic can make the first aid kits, and then you want 1 of the tissue synthesizers. All right, storage. Okay, this is your biodome. Now, you're going to want 1 medicinal plant pad. Right? I've worked with various things around here. Usually, when you cut the other ones, you want to stick to the yellow. I mean, the production's not very high, but they're manageable for the amount of people you've got. So if you stick with rice, potatoes, and wheat, it helps with your mix on your foodstuffs. Alrighty. Now, okay, processing plant. This is very simple. You want one of each of these. All right. You want to start. You want to make the bioplastics, and you want to make the iron from the ore that's going to come out of the mine. As soon as they're done with this one, which will be in a moment because the bot's there. Okay, oxygen levels are coming up. Right, so nobody's going to do anything. On here, this is very simple. Okay, initially one bed because you only have one medic, so you don't need more than that. But you're going to need room for 10 of your first aid kits. You've got you 4 of these will fit in each one, so you need 3 of these containers. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that'll be a place that they can go to store in instead of taking a valuable space in your storage area. Now you've got extra. You got extra up here. So what you do to help with this problem with the power, you do 2 things. Okay, put up a wind generator. Actually, put up 2 wind generators, and you put up another. Where the heck is it? It's in the wrong. I clicked the wrong one. You put up the another solar panel, which you put over here. Okay, now for the storage. This is where you get a little not crazy, but you get a little. Okay, you don't want it to go near anything, but you want to have 2 routes, so you connect it up there. Right. Initially, you set it up so there's only one link, that it's got only a link to one thing. The reason for that is because it'll quickly run down on your supplies. You've got the meals, you've got the metal, you've got these. You're not making any of these things yet. Right? See how they've got the bed made? That gives somebody a place to sleep. Right? They've got a place for the meals, but they've got nothing coming in to do it. This is empty. Once you start making the vegetables here, it goes in here to make your basic meals. So link that up. Right, so now, like I said, you've got all of this stuff being made, and you'll see there'll be very little left over here. All right, you've got 3, 4, 5 that you need for this, and you've got 7. Technically, you could put that in there, but you need to keep, like I said, you need to be conscious of where your supplies are at. When they start getting too low, you need to slow down your building. Right? A lot of players will put a landing pad in there right away, get the population growing, but then you run into problems because if the population grows too fast, you're rushing to try to keep up with the food production. And the thing you find out about the food production is you need biologists to get that, keep that food production up and running. See, now the canteen is complete. You've got a place to eat, you've got something to make the food, and there. Now, if they're hungry, they'll go out there and pick it up and bring it in, and they'll sit at the table. And that was the bane of your colony. Right? Meteors are striking all the time on this world, and the worst thing to have happen is you've got 7, 8 bunks filled with people in a dome, and a meteor comes out, takes out the dome. Every one of them dies. That's 14, 16 colonists, valuable people, and then you're rushing to try to get them replaced. See, one of the things your people also need. See this guy down here? He's drinking from the fountain. Right? That's what you need water. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just absolutely normal. You need the water. Right now, here we go. Right, your little construction bot here just made the medicinal plants pod. So we're good to go on that one. Now, let me show you something. It's getting nighttime. The solar panels are useless at this point. We've got the wind going full tilt. Let me show you something. Here's the power. Here's the grids. Right? I'm making more power than I did. 1,000 is basically a megawatt. Right? So basically, I can store up to 10 megawatts worth of power. This is your water. To the right is your production. To your left is your usage. Oxygen, right is production, left is usage. For the power, the 40 is what you're producing right now, and the left number is what you're using. Right? As far as the storage here, this storage area, 10,000 is what you can store. This is how much you have stored. When you're making power, you want to generally be twice. You want to be at least twice as much as what you're using. The reason for that is, right, it needs to be at least twice, is because if the wind is not up and running, everything's gonna draw on what you've got stored. So you want to make sure that you store twice as much as what you need. So this way, like say for example, you use 5,000, use 5,000 kilowatts, right? During the daytime. Well, you're going to need 5,000 watts during the nighttime. So that's why you have to have all that done. See right there, I'm getting ready to go. The wind's dying down. Now I'm producing less. It turns red, and you'll see this number will go down. But because it's not completely running out of power, right? See how the wind is still going, right? It's not going down as fast as if I was producing nothing. Right? And so basically this is where we're at. Things are getting built. See, all our pods are done. Now our biologists have a place to call home. They go here and they work. This is basically their area. It's a good idea to try to keep where they work in one particular area, and then eventually you set up a what do they call that one? I forget what the name of it is. The dorm dome. Okay. All right. Then eventually you set up a dorm dome for them when there's enough of them, and it makes it easier because, tell me this, you like a nice easy commute. You don't want to have to walk you don't want to have to walk across the colony to get to where you're working. You want to work. People don't want to do more than what they have to. All right, so I've got the water is filled up, so I probably should, but I'm not going to because I want to conserve. I'm out of the bioplastics. All I've got is 5 metals. Right, so let's see. That's at 22%. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the oxygen. 27, 20, 17, 33. So it looks like the rice will be the first to produce. Right. In the meantime, they're going to start pulling in all this stuff and putting it in the storage. Right. See, this is going, and look where it's going. It's going right to where it's being stored. It's right, it's right there. See how that one's got, there's 4 slots. That one's got 2 slots filled. That one's got none, so. But you see now, in order to get the bed, for the hospital bed built, I need to produce one of the, I need this to produce its starch. Because when it comes out, this is when it hits 100%, you're going to see 2 of these 3 things will show up on the floor here, and a combination of bots and humans, colonists, will come and take them to where they need to go. These 2 will go into this, the meal maker, and then the starch will go into here, which is your bioplastic processor. Turns starch into the bioplastics. Oh, looks like the tissue synthesizer has already made its first thing, and the meal maker is making its first meal. Now it's solidly meat. It's chicken, right? But so it's one ingredient. It's what they call a basic meal. All right. So now we look at this real carefully. Alrighty. I might be able to squeeze through there, but and make that area useful. This area should have no problems being moved into, which would open this area up completely. However, if I go this way, the area is open to me anyway, so I don't have to really work at it. Right? And you see this area out here is vast. I mean, they used to limit it a little bit more than what they do, but you could easily get 400 or 500 people into this one if you plan it out right. Like I will probably end up putting my landing pads out in this area here. I group them in a certain place, so that this way they come in, they come in certain airlocks, and those airlocks have a guard pretty much right there. So if it turns out that there's a visitor, the guards, who will be armed, they'll actually have guns on them, will be able to fend off the intruders. Yeah, I think I'll be able to work my way up this way. Okay, so let's see how we're doing here. Bioplastics is not there. So I've got all 3 of my miners busily working, waiting for this to hit the 100%. And there it goes. See how it popped? You've got the starch and the 2 vegetables, and they'll take the as soon as they come by, they'll take the vegetables in there. And now to make sure that these get produced, you hit this button, which prioritizes the work in there. And what that'll do is your workers, instead of going to the mine, you'll have some workers that will be working in here, in case when there's material in there. So if there's material here, they work here. If there's no material here, they go to the mine. And just so you know, you've got, if you look at this real carefully, I'll show you the different classes of humans that there are. Right? You've got the colonists, which represented by these down here. Right? Then you've got visitors that will show up. Right? Now, there's the danger with visitors. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Right? But of the workers, I have 3 workers, 2 biologists, 1 engineer, 1 medic, and no guards. Now, the biologists and the workers are your 2 most critical types of colonists. The workers work in the mines. They work on turning the ore into iron. They work on taking the starch and making it into bioplastics. Right? The biologists make the food. Right? Of those two, it's going to basically be, you want to get, it's going to basically be the needs. But if you need to improve, say, your starch and your bioplastic and your iron, right? You increase your workers, right? If you need to increase the food that's available, you increase your biologists, right? Now your engineers, they're the guys that build stuff. They're also the ones that make the stuff necessary so you can make guns and bots, right? And then the medics, they take care of those who get hurt. Generally, you're going to find out the workers are the ones who get hurt the most, because they get hurt in the mine. The only other time that they're really needed is when there's an intruders, and some of your people get hurt. Now it's possible some of your people may get killed by the intruders, but that's what the guards are for. They're there to keep them armed. You want to have positions so that you've got 2 or 3 guards near where the visitors are going to come in. You keep them there. Right? They come in, they start problems. You're going to nail them, because the airlock is a choke point. They can only come in one at a time, and your guards will recognize them pretty much immediately. And boom, they'll be the guards will take them out before they do it. They'll be injured. They'll go to the medics and get taken care of. Right? And you see, while I was talking to you, it went from poor to good. Next stage is decent, and then after that, it gets to be excellent. Right? The lower number is your prestige. That's what happens with the so that you get traders and such. The morale is how you get more colonists to show up. Right? See, now they started on this one. They started on producing it, but they stopped. I've seen them stop at 99%. I mean, it's disheartening when that happens. Right? It's disheartening. All right, I need to take a moment to help my son. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. I apologize about that. My son is on the spectrum, so he doesn't have a handle on everything. He can't quite grasp how to log into his computer, so we have to get him logged in. My daughter, on the other hand, is a computer genius. She's also on the spectrum, but she is a genius when it comes to computers. Alrighty, now as you see, we've got the bioplastics running. The medical bed has been made. Right? We've got the power going on there. We've got plenty of that. So I am going to be making my. I'm going to be putting in the water tank. Let's see, where do I want the water tank? We'll put it right here. All right. I need 1, 2 for that one, so that's 4. 5, 6. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Now, the reason why I put these extra connections in here is if something gets taken out, it'll need an alternate way to get power and water to and from the base. So something could be taken out here, it's not going to have any effect on the base at all. And there we go. One of the connections has been made. So let's take a look at this. Alrighty. You'll find out that'll quickly develop. So you put a second. You put a second meal maker on there with a second water fountain. You don't have to have a water fountain with every meal maker. I just like to have 2 right at the entrance. And look at that, they're all. Now we just need to make this connection here, and it's on the way right here. See him? He's right here. This guy right here, carrying metal to it. Okay. See, even the medical helps out. Now, if you start having to move a lot of stuff, it's going to have a negative impact on your morale, because the colonists are lazy. They don't want to do more than they have to. Right? What they want, they want to get by with the least amount of effort. So you need to have it set up that you can have a lot of carrier bots running around, moving stuff. That takes a little bit of time to build that up to, because you need to, in order to do that, you need to have a factory set up which will allow you to build items that's necessary to produce the things so that you can produce the robotics facility. The items that go into the robotics facility. Right? Before you can get all that, you need to improve your population. At 7, that's not enough of people to be running everything. Because if you remember, we have 1 engineer. And guess what? The engineers, they're the ones that work in the factories. They're the ones that work in that work on the machines to make the robots that are in the robotic facility. Right now, my 1 engineer is working with my 1 engineer is working to maintain the bots and also to finalize the build on things. All right, so now we've got this set up. I'm sorry, my son wants something to drink now. He knows to bring in the cup. He knows to bring the cup and the drink that he wants. So there you go, buddy. And yes, that's my nickname for him, buddy. And I allow him to call me buddy as well. Um, doesn't mean he doesn't get yelled at for at times. He does. He's a typical, he's like any other kid. He gets into trouble. Um, Not on purpose a lot of times, but there are times where he does it deliberately, like every kid does. Okay, so let's see. That one filled up nice. That one's got something in there already. That's cool. Alrighty, so now I'm looking at getting the pad in there. I need 4 metal plus the connections, so that's 5 that I need. So when I see that I have 5 ore, a combination of the ore and the metal being 5, these two up here. This is the ore that gets converted into metal. When these combine to make 5, then I know I'm ready to put up my my landing pad. And where I'm going to put my landing pad? Guess where? Right where I land it. Right here is where I'm going to put it this time. Alrighty. See, this is what I can do. Once I build a control room, that adds in a few things. Right? Woohoo! See, and if you look at this, watch this. This is a situation with the thing. See? I mean, if you look up here, this is what the hour, it tells you the day that you're on and what hour you're in. Right now we're at midnight. Right around 5 a.m. is when the sun comes up, and that's when the solar panels start kicking in. Like I said, it's a matter of you have to get things producing. You have to get things producing, and then you can work things out. But the key initially on this one is to keep the power and the water running. That's why you need a combination of 2 solar panels, 2 windmills, for lack of a better phrase, turbines they call them, and you also need to have 2 collectors so that it will store what you have. So, and the other thing about it is you have to monitor this pretty routinely. Like the water, it's kind of sliding down, which is not unusual. The amount of water you produce goes up and down, right? But if you start seeing it getting close to where to the amount that you need, then you need to add water to pump up more water on it. That's what I'm trying to say. See how the wind kicked up, and for a little bit it was just slightly over what was needed. Right? Now here's the other thing that a lot of players also forget to keep an eye on, is the oxygen levels. Right? The oxygen levels obviously are critical. Your colonists can't breathe; they die of asphyxiation. And guess what? Right? They die of asphyxiation. This little thing called welfare, which is also can be translated into morale. I don't know why they call it welfare. It's actually morale. This thing can go from, if they start dying of oxygen or of asphyxiation, right? That can go from 100 all the way over here, 100% to 0 real fast. And if you're welfare or morale, as I prefer to call it morale. If your morale is low, it's hard to get new colonists in. If it's non-existent, you don't get new colonists in. It's just a failure, and the game ends on you. So, ooh, look at that. See how close that was? Just missed my collector. But now that the sun's up and running, let's take a look. See, remember I told you you need to produce at least twice what you've got, right? I can add another collector in there to do it, but if you remember, I'm saving up. I'm saving up my so that I can build a landing pad, small one, but I'm building it up. Eventually, I will be moving the landing pad out from that location. As soon as this thing wants to cooperate. Like if I can break through in here, this is a great I'm always looking, I'm always updating how I'm going to do things. It's good to have a plan, but you got to remember the initial plans are probably not going to be how things are finalized. Alrighty. Yeah, we're gonna have to go through there. Okay. Now, how you build things, how you set things up, that's really, up to you to decide how you put that together. See, if you look, it's like if you look, I try to keep it as compact as possible. Right? If you look, you come in through the airlock. 1, 2, 3, you're over here. Okay, airlock. 1, 2, 3, you're over here. 1, 2, you're where you're gonna sleep, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, you're over here in the medical bay. I probably could have made that a little closer, the medical bay a little closer, but alrighty, buddy. I think my son is a fish. Okay. Take it easy. Don't drink that one that fast. All right. So anyway. Let's see. Do we have anybody working over here? Yeah, we've got a miner. So the first thing I'm gonna bring in is I have to have the ability to grow more food. So the first thing I'm gonna do is when I bring in the colonists, I'm bringing in biologists. Right? A lot of people say, well, you need to have the metals and stuff like that. Yeah, you're right. I do need to have the metals. However, it's no good having the metals if you don't have the food to feed them. So make sure you have the means of feeding them. See, like right now, these two are done. I've got the bioplastics available. So I put in I edit this. I hit the edit button. Boom. Now I've got another meal maker that's there. got the bot. I've got the carrier. This is a carrier bot. This is what he looks like. He's kind of like this green, dark green color, right? He carries things around. That's why it's called a carrier bot. This one is your constructor bot. It serves the same function, as your engineers, except it doesn't work on machinery. All it does is it will supplement the carrier bots in carrying things around, but generally it's just there for constructing things. I've got 4. Oh, look at that! They stopped at 88. It could have been made. And like I said, you're going to see a lot. There's going to be meteors falling all the time. That's why when the time comes, here, I'll show you. When the time comes and you set up your control base, then you build your telescope, right? Once you build a telescope, you can build your lasers, which are your anti-meteor lasers. They will destroy lasers that are coming in their zone of protection. Generally, by the time I get to that point, I usually want to build 3 lasers so that the central core of the base is basically overlapped by 3 different lasers. Thus providing, near impenetrable defense. That helps morale too. They have no effect on intruder ships. The only thing they're there for is the meteors. The other now, the telescope also will give you warning as to an approaching sandstorm. You'll see that eventually. There's sandstorms roaming the planet all the time. Now, see this? When it's flashing like that, that means that energy is being drawn from that collector. Right? And we'll probably see a low level warning for this one, seeing that it's only producing 16 of the 38. So, like I said, we're likely to see this one. We're likely to see this one flat. We'll see this one flashing, no doubt in my mind. But we'll get a little message down here saying that it's low power level. One of the things that I found out is that as your base expands away from the core area, right, in order to keep a quick eye on the power, you start building collectors as you go along. Put a collector, instead of putting down a pad, you put down a collector. See how this is developing here? Got all this. Now here's the thing. Once you start having the, traders come in, oh, look at this. They're not keeping up. Right? We're down to 9 meals. But once you start having the traders come in, one of the easiest things that you can have for sale is your loose vegetables and vitro meats. All right, let me see how this is doing. Okay, that's doing fine. All right, let's edit this and put in another vitro meat. Now, the thing about the vitro meats also is you can have 3 different varieties of vitro meat. You could have chicken, you could have ham, and you could have pork. I usually just go like, I may like to have 2 of this kind, 2 of the next kind, and 2 of the third kind. With the idea is that eventually I'm going to be moving out the workbenches. I'm going to set up a lab that's specifically for making the first aids kits, which are these. See, we've got 11. We started off with 10. He's actually made number 11, and now number 12 has just popped up. All right, now let me look at the landing pad. Landing pad requires 4. Okay, we've got it. So let's go and put the landing pad out. And when that's built, I can start bringing in traders, and I could also bring in colonists, because there'll be a special command that I can set up, and I can specify what kind of colonists I want. Hang on just a second. All right. It took me a little bit of, for lack of a better phrase, it took me a little bit of negotiation to get him to turn it down. Yeah, so anyway, but we still got a little bit of time to go. I know I say I'm supposed to end at 3:30, but I'm gonna carry this out to 2:30. Main reason I'm doing a series is because the I've been getting requests regarding doing more planet base. Alrighty, so this is ready to go. I'm gonna mix it up here. Now that's how you do it simply. Like, it starts off as chicken, you set it up for beef, or you can set it up as pork. And if you want to switch at any time, you can. It's not locked in. So however you see fit about that one. I'm going to add another one in there to help with the food production. All right. Food production is now up. And here comes what's needed to produce it. You need 1 bioplastic in order to make it. It's being brought by the bot, and he's making it right away. So now I quickly turn that over to pork. So now I've got all 3 kinds of meat being produced. That will help the number of meals, right? But the whole thing about it is see, that's a salad. You want different kinds of meals, right? If it's just a, oh, wow, look at that. See, that's a basic, right? That's a basic meal. They're okay, but you want to have different things. You want to have burgers. You want to have a variety of different foods. It helps with the nutrition levels of your colonists. If they're only eating basic meals, guess what? They're going to die of malnutrition. This is like, what's a good way to explain it? This is like colonizing Mars. The planet's out to kill you, and you're doing everything you can to make it more livable, and the planet's working it out so that it's not livable for you. Right? And if you look, we've got 3 there. Click on it, it tells you how many more you need. So we need 1 more iron, which is being made right now. Let's see where it's at. 29%, 30%. Right? Doing very well. See that? The carrier bot tells you right where he's going. He's being idle. Now he's going to the canteen for some reason. Right? Going to the connection. Basically, he's just roaming around looking for something to do. He's got nothing to do right now. There's nothing. Nothing to put into storage like here. See, you've got all these spares. That's something That's something that as soon as I get this set up, that's something I'm gonna have to work on next. Right, which means I'm gonna need to improve the number of engineers that I've got. Now, here's the other thing about it. If you start seeing, say, ore or starch piling up in the storage area, build a new machine, let it be stored in there. It saves on your storage area. Like you click on it right here, tells you what percentage of storage is being utilized. Right now it's 24%. Right? If you're overproducing compared to the number of machines you've got, you're going to find the basic units. Being stored there. Hang on a second. All right, sorry about the background music. Some of these videos my son watch can be pretty loud. It's not his fault. It's just how they're coming through. Ah, here we go. See, he's bringing that, and he's bringing it right to the meal maker because there's a spot available on it. Right. That one's not quite full. That one's not quite full. All right, so there's 4 slots available, and he's got only 1 vegetable to go in there. Alrighty. Now we'll see what he does with this. See, this is the starch that comes up. There's 1 slot left in the bioplastic. So when this colonist, it turned out to be a colonist that took it, is the medic of all people. He grabbed the starch, he's bringing it over, and now he's heading to the bioplastic processor. See, they will fill up the machinery first before they'll put it into storage. See how that's filled up? So it's just waiting on a worker to work it over into place. And let's see, we still need the 1. And there's your sandstorm. Here it comes. Now, when you have a control room, you can hit the alarm. Basically, what you do is you hit F6. It doesn't work right now, but you hit F6, select 3, and that puts you in. Sets off an alarm, and everybody comes in. The bots come in, the colonists come in, because they will be. Their health will go down while they're out in the sandstorm. Let's see if I've got anybody out there that can show that to you. And generally, I've noted that it seems like the sandstorms, while they may come at any time of day, they will generally last about 12 hours. So when this started right about here, right about midnight, it's going to last until about noon. Now there are 2 advantages, or there's an advantage and a disadvantage to sandstorms. The first advantage of the sandstorms is the wind strength is maxed out, which means the turbines are producing max electricity. So if you looked at it, right, of the 39 that we need, right now they're making 40. They're maxed out. Right? They're all maxed out. The disadvantage to the sandstorm, and I'll show you that what I said about the colonists being hurt while they're out. The disadvantage is solar panels do not work during a sandstorm. All right. See, look at that. See his health? It's starting to go down slightly. He's heading to the mine. All right. Now, it says landing permissions. Click on the landing pad, or you can, or I'll show you another way to do it. All right, you go to this, or you hit F5 for the landing permissions. There we go. All right, you hit F5. All right. Yellow means they're coming in. Green means they're not. All right, so I don't have much to trade, so I'm not interested in the trader yet. Now, remember I said I need a biologist. So what I generally do is whatever I need, it's 100%. You know, I don't, you know, because then the other one is like a, you know, hit or miss. You might get the other one. Right? So now when it comes in, I will get one, because of the size of this pad, I will get 1 to 3 biologists come in. Or if I'd set it to the engineers, it'd be 1 to 3 engineers, 1 to 3 workers, 1 to 3 medics, 1 to 3 guards. Whatever you know, whatever, if you set it to 100%, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get 1 to 3 off of the small pad. Now, if you put the port out there, you can get, you know, you'll get a few more. So you can afford to play around with it a little bit if you want to. Unless you want to get 7, up to 7 of one kind. I believe it's 7. It's been a while since I've actually played this. I played it for a while. I learned a few things, learned a few things. But now let me look at these. We'll see if we need to up the power at all. Okay, power production is good. However, if the wind is not up there, it's not going to be producing as much. So, and it looks like the water went down a little bit. So, and it looks like it just started. So, it's time to put a new extractor in. Let's see, I've got one there. Where do I want to put this one? You know what? I want to put it right here. Now, I have a choice. Level 1, level 2. All right, those are the choices. What I do is, I make the second one level 2. Reason being is it will produce a lot more for just a little bit extra. Like instead of spending 1 metal on it, I'm now spending 2. So that will help with that. Forgive me, I need a stretch. Oh, feels good. Except for a few moments of getting up, I've been pretty much stuck in my chair. And right now my chair has gotten old. I need to replace it, but it looks like it's going to be a couple months before I can afford that. Okay. So now when they arrive, they'll be working on they'll be working on what I've already got. So what I need to do is I'm going to need to add to it. And then depending upon how many I get, if I get 2 or 3, I need to add another bunk for the new colonists. And here they are. All right, you'll click on it. Colonist ship. We've got 7 people. And we'll also get down here as an expansion on a message at the bottom left. All right, and I got 1, so I don't need to add a bunk. But I will need to add a okay. So now it's going to take a little while because this requires 3 of each. I've got the I've got the bioplastic that I need for this one, but I don't have the iron. And oops, I don't need to do that. So as far as the iron's concerned, I'm going to put that up first. Alright, so now we look at the grid. See how the water came back up? However, it's not quite where it needs to be. I mean, it's slowly regenerating the supplies, but that's not a help. Okay. Now, you see all this that you've got here? Here's a little something. Let me explain this before I explain that other thing. This is about telling me that it's no longer functional. It can be repaired. Right? If you click on it, it's in very poor condition. It's not doing anything. All right? Its repairability is still excellent. As they call it, it's the integrity. Right? So now what's happening is it's waiting on the engineer to come and maintain it. Right? But now, a little something for you, a little trick to help you get your food reserves up. Right? What you do is you click on a meal machine. See over here, recycle. You recycle it. Click yes, and then you go back into the edit screen and rebuild it. What that does is the meals that are here will get put into storage. The meats and the vegetables will get put back in as soon as this guy builds it. Right? It'll start the meats and the vegetables will be put in. The meals will be brought over here and put into storage with the other meals that we've got. I mean, it can get a little crazy at times. The like if you try to do that to build it up to a massive amount. Generally, as long as you've got enough meals for everybody, save maybe 5, depending upon the size. Depending upon the size of the population. Generally, you want generally. If you keep it at about a 96% level of population, you won't have any problems with food. All right, and if you look, our engineer has taken care of them. See, he's maintaining CR1. That's carrier 1. Excuse me. And carrier 1. You look at him as being maintained by Vihan Espinoza. I forgot to turn off the colonists. Okay, how many did I get this time? I've got 8 up there. How many did I get this time? Got 2. So hit the pad, turn off the colonists. Come over here. Put it in the bag. All right, so now once it's made, I've got 10 bunks for 10 colonists. Okay. So this is being made. The water extractor is being made. Yahoo! Now watch this. When it connects up, boom! See that jump up? Now they're producing what they're supposed to be producing. Alrighty. Let's see how quickly that filled up. And we still have foodstuffs that need to be cooked. So, okay, the first of the metal is coming over. I need 2 for here, 1 for here. So chances are he's coming to the connection. Let me see if that's where he's going. Metal to connection. Okay, so right now I don't have any colony ships or trader ships ready to come in. Now, if I start seeing that hit around 20, one of these two hitting around 20, I'll bring in a trader. I'll say I've got, I'll let it be known I've got room for a trader to land. I've got some stuff that I need to sell. Now I know it doesn't show up, but if you look in here, it says everything's there. That actually needs the 1 bio and 1 iron. So it's there, it's just that you can't see it. I noticed that with the last few games that I've played, that sometimes it doesn't show up. I don't know if that's a glitch on my side or if that was a glitch, inadvertent glitch by the makers. Okay, the meals are doing good. If you look, I've got 18 meals for 10 people. So they've got some choices. And the bunk has been built. Hallelujah. So now everybody has their own place to sleep. Hang on a second. Okay. Alrighty, so this is one of the boring phases, waiting for the materials to show up. I've got the ores. I just need them. I need them both into the processor so that the metal can be made. He's going to sleep. Well, it is that time. Well, while I'm waiting, let me monitor this. Oh, power is sufficient. See, now I'm not producing anything. And while I was not paying attention, one of the iron showed up at the new dome, which is going to be a new biodome. And my medic is doing wonderful. He's already got enough produced that it's up to 15 first aid kits. reminds me. Okay. See what they were doing. Oh god, this got built while I was busy getting something set up over here that I needed to have set up already. Alright, so now what I do is, let's see, this is the medicinal one. I'm going to move the wheat over here. And once it gets built, see, okay, let me explain what's going on over here. See, this is the constructor bot. He's got with us some spare. He's carrying spares, and he's going to the solar panel, which is obviously this one here. Right. What he's doing is he's maintaining it. Take a look. See, this is how much it's producing. This is its status. Right, there we go. Okay. Wheat pad is built. All right, so now we go to here. We scrap it. Hit this. All right. And we put that in. Okay, so we've got an extra one. Alrighty, so now we've got P to put in. So now we've got 2 medicinal plants. Thought I had an extra bioplastic here. What happened to it? There it is. Okay, so we've got we've got 2 starches. So let's get them. Let's see. I've got rice and potato. Got wheat and pea. Okay. Rice and potato. Rice and potato. Wheat and pea. So we're going to have maize and tomato. So anyway, now we just wait for the bioplastic to be processed, and we can add these onto it. Okay, they're maintaining that. Alrighty. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not bored, I'm just tired. I haven't been sleeping well lately. Alright, so let's go over here. No, I don't want that. The control. So I'm going to turn on the colonists. And we're going to get a couple more in here. Meantime, I'm going to add 2 of these. Alright. Power storage is low. Okay, let me look at how the power is going. Alrighty. I've got 3. Alright, seeing this is the 3rd one. I don't want a huge one, but I don't want the small one either, so let's go with 5. That's a power outage. The power will stay out until the sun comes up in the morning. So we've got about 4 hours. These are the kind of things you want to try to avoid. So now that the wind turbines are functioning, power is coming back in. A little bit at a time. Okay, now the solar panels are starting to pick up. Which means the power supply is coming back up. Where are we at with the storage? 34%. Not enough to warrant a trader. Okay, those are my workers that I asked for. looks like I got 3, so I can turn off new colonist. Surprised 2 of them didn't go for the mine. How are we doing down here? We got 2. Alrighty. See, even despite the power outage, they still treat their morale is still high. Okay. So now, if you look, we now have 6 workers. 2 are here, 2 are here, and the other 2 are taking some much needed time off. And for those who've played before, you may notice something is missing. It just goes to show that you don't necessarily need it all the time. But it's this, right? Multi-dome and a bar. Okay, da-da-da-da. What are we doing here? Okay, we've got 1 metal ready to go. The bed is getting, the bed has the bed has what it needs. The bioplastic is there for the bed. I find it interesting. The beds are made of plastic. They're not made of metal. You'd think they would make them of metal, huh? See, bunk has been built. Alrighty, we have 2. Number 3 has just showed up. Still need to figure out what happened to our two workers here. Not sure where they're at. Maybe he's going to. Is he a worker? Going to the mine, yes. Julian Mason. There's no way you can change their name. You know, we can't go like colonist number 001. You know, I can't do that. But now you look. Okay. He's tired. He wants to go and get some sleep. That's perfectly acceptable. There's 1 slot left for a vegetable or vitra meat. And we still need 1 metal. Is that what we're waiting on? Yes, metal is being carried to the airlock by an engineer who will bring it over to the solar panel, and the solar panel will be brought online when he's done. And during the day, we will have sufficient energy. Next thing I need to do is I'm going to need to work on a second level wind turbine. But let me show you this. If you look down here, see how these are orange and yellow? That means they're not being maintained enough. So what that means is I need, what that means is that I need to bring in more biologists. If they can't maintain it during the daytime, there's solar panels been built. If they can't maintain it during the daytime, by the time nighttime is over, you're gonna have some orange and red, which means they're not producing. Red means they're not producing at all. All right. Sorry, engineer. Look at this. All right, so look at the nighttime production. 22 of 52. Alrighty. Alrighty, we will call when the daytime comes, we're going to call this another day, and I will see you all next Monday at 2:30. Unless I hear from more people and they want more, they want more of it, I'll schedule in some more time for Planet Base. Alrighty, let's see here. Hour 4. We'll get to the point where we see let's see those move, and then, like I said, we'll call it a day. Okay. All right, everybody. We'll catch you next week, unless I hear from more people who want more than once a week on this. I'll be happy to oblige on that one. Take care.